Welcome back, everyone. Well, as many of you know, here at Look Media, we've been very involved with Code Blue and Shelters of Saratoga, just to help raise awareness for the fact that homelessness, even in our own community, is a lot more prevalent than a lot of us think. You know, once in a while you see a homeless person on your street and you think, oh, that's just one person. But there's a lot going on with this situation that requires us as members of the community to do our best to help. And joining me today, Cindy Harrington, who's the Director of Marketing for Shelters of Saratoga, and former Mayor of Saratoga, Ken Klotz. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you here. Ladies first, let's just do that sort of 30,000-foot view. Shelters of Saratoga, how long has it been around? What kind of services do you provide?
Okay. Well, we've been around for 25 years, wow. And over the years, the services have evolved. So it started out as just a men's shelter, has grown, and incrementally, actually, in the last several years, so that now we can house up to 35 individuals at our case-managed shelters on Walworth Street. We also have outreach programs, so we're trying to meet individuals who are either chronically homeless, living on the streets, or at risk of homelessness, and getting them the services they need. Mm-hmm. We also have, as of August 2015, the Code Blue program is now, we're the lead agency for that, and it's housed at the Salvation Army. So we're helping folks during the winter months and providing them with safe shelter, food, showers, mm-hmm. whatever necessary items they need. And then we have an adult drop-in program that we do on Tuesdays, and that's from 11 to 3 at our 20 Walworth Street location. And there we're encouraging individuals to come in so that they can take a shower, get something to eat, connect with services. And in between Code Blue as well as the drop-in programs, it's a nice place to establish trust and create bonds. You know, the override, and I want to cycle back on a couple of these things, because some of these programs are actually very innovative. But, you know, there for the grace of God go I. You hear that phrase, right? And when we had the recession, 2009, you know, people who were living paycheck to paycheck all of a sudden found themselves without any income. Ken and I were talking about this. And, you know, sometimes you tend to think, oh, well, the homeless is just a situation because it might be mentally ill or something like that. But sometimes it's just that razor-thin line, right, Ken?
Absolutely. You've got a range of situations, and everyone is different, but it's very common that you have people that were active, productive members of society with families, and just when the bad times hit, had no options, and all of a sudden they wind up on the streets. Right.
Now you were mayor from 2000, 2003, right?
That's correct. That's
right.
Correct.
And as, you know, as mayor of a community like Saratoga, you see not only the change, a very rapidly changing city we've got here, but you also saw an increase in homelessness during that time period, didn't you?
Well, the increase really has been more of, it's been continuous from the beginning, wow. But the real increase has come after my term in office, the 2008, 2009, 2010 period. But there was enough of a problem when I was in office that I was there when we made that final transition to the Walworth Street property.
Yes, that's right.
And that council facilitated that process.
Mm-hmm. And you've stayed involved even since the end of your term, right?
Well, it was one of the things. I was involved on the board in the early 90s before I was involved in city affairs. And then after I was out of office, I was asked if I could come back and have some sort of involvement. And I had been on the board. I didn't want to get back on the board, but I agreed to join an advisory committee on development, fundraising mm-hmm. for the things that the shelter does.
Gotcha. You know, Sin, I want to cycle back on some things you were talking about. They served over 1,000 individuals last year. Kind of put that in perspective. All those individuals have individual needs. Some are family, some are single, some are young, some are old. I'm particularly interested in this drop-in program that you have. Mm-hmm. On Tuesdays, I think you told me, 11 to 3?
Right, for adults.
If you're an adult, you can come in off the street. You can get a meal. You can have your clothes washed. You could take a shower. Think about the things we take for granted and then amplify it by somebody who's on the street not knowing where the next meal is going to come from. And then, of course, you've got the support services, right? And there's a wonderful, one other thing I want to mention too, and on Thursdays from 11 to 3 is when students can come in. You'd be stunned at the number of high school students that are homeless.
Yeah.
Isn't that something?
Elementary and high. Yeah,
Oh, my
elementary,
God.
middle, and high, the whole range.
That's really something.
Mention, we also do a motel outreach program too. So families, individuals that are temporarily housed in local motels, we connect with them as well because they're young children, and during the school year, the buses pick them up, drop them off there, and so it's nice to be able to provide them with the same resources as what we do in the programs that we run out of the shelters that we have.
Well, you know what? Comfort comes in at many levels, right? You know, comfort can be a conversation, but it sure helps when you know that you've got the opportunity to get fed, that you have the opportunity to take a shower, that you've got the opportunity to get your clothes washed. I know I go back on that, but it just stuns me sometimes, the things we take for granted, right? We have a major. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To be heard too, and
Yes.
to know that somebody cares and they want to help you, and that doesn't necessarily always have to be staff. We have tons of volunteers, and Ken being one of them, because I think that speaks volumes. And if we didn't have the community support that we do, then we, as a small staff, we can only just make a dent.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of the great things about this community, Jesse, and we were talking about that earlier. This is an organization that was founded by members of the community, connected, particularly the faith community, the churches, because they saw a problem and they recognized that it was necessary for people to step up and deal with it. And it really makes you proud to be a resident of Saratoga Springs.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Ken. On April 7th, which is a Thursday, coming up fairly soon, April 7th, Thursday, there's a major fundraiser for SOS at Longfellow's. Quick shout out to Sully, once again stepping up, as he always does, to be able to help give back to the community. A really great fundraiser. They've got a lofty goal, let's just say roughly $50,000, I think you were talking about. They're trying to raise all that money, goes right back in to the operating costs of making certain that the shelter on Woodsworth is Walworth. I always get that wrong. Is staffed properly, and they've got the supplies and the resources necessary to try to help people. Tell us about the event. So we got music and live auctions and silent auctions, right?
Right, April 7th, and yes, it'll be a cocktail reception, and this year we'll actually be acknowledging some of the folks in the community who support SOS's mission, and so we're looking forward to having a good turnout, and so hopefully if you go to our website, sheltersofsaratoga.org, you can learn more about the event itself.
Great.
Last couple of years, we've packed Longfellows with 200 plus at this event. And going back to my era when I was first on the board, if we had 35 or 40, we considered that a success. So that community support is what's really grown.
Well, you know what? We've seen our city grow, and it's just really, I just think it speaks volumes about the people who recognize the need in this community and give back. And as the city grows, so is this growing.
Absolutely.
That's really something, Ken, right? Especially from a position that you're in. By the way, Ken is being honored at the event, and well deserved.
Well, it's honestly, Jesse, it's a little embarrassing because there are hundreds of people in the community who have participated in this, and the success of the shelter depends on that. But this is an organization that I have been involved with for a long time and that I really support. And if I can be seen as representing the many individuals who have brought about the success of the shelter and the continued meeting of or addressing the needs of the people on the streets, I'm happy to do that.
Well, good. Hats off to you, Ken. All right, one last reminder, Thursday, April 7th at Longfellow's, a big fundraiser called Brighter Days. I love the optimism there, to help Shelters of Saratoga. Thank you both very much for coming in. Very nice to see you again, Sin.
Thank you, Jesse.
Very nice to meet you, Ken. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.